So let's work on the controller. So we already defined the schema, right? So this is the schema, and then we have exported that. So mongoose.model, basically we are exporting the collection, right? The student detail is the collection name. Um, so first thing is that, right, in the CRUD we have to write code for creating, reading, updating, and deleting, right? So in the routes, first we have to create functions for create student, get student, update student, and delete a student. So I have created routes for all the create, read, update, and delete. So these functions are available in a different file, which is in controller directory. So I have imported that, and then to define the route, this is the syntax. We have to call express.router, and then we have to tell the express that for post route and for the endpoint slash cs, this is a function, create student is a function to be called. And similarly for get, for this route, this function has to be called. So we have mentioned this to express. So when express gets a http request, which is a post method, and the endpoint is slash info slash cs, then this function, the express will call this function. Okay, so I have implemented the function here. So for create student, the details will come in the request, right? So in the request dot body, you will have the details. So it will come in the JSON format. So the express will convert, will parse the JSON, and it will put the information in the request dot body. So I'm now, what I'm doing is I'm creating an entry in the table. So users is nothing but you are importing from model student schema. This is nothing but the table. So you're creating an entry in the table here, which is I'm storing in the variable data, and then I'm calling data.save. This will save the complete entry in the table. After saving, I'm sending the response back with the status code success 200, and I'm sending the data, right? Whatever data has come, I'm sending the data. So this is a function for create student, and I'm also printing what is coming in the request body. So let's use insomnia, and then we'll just try to create an entry here. So insomnia, I will create a post request. Okay, and let's create an entry for Sidhu. Okay, so we need to create a new entry, and remember that whatever you are giving here, right, this name has to match this name. If there is any match, even it is case sensitive, and the case also should match. So I'm creating an entry here, and let me send this. Okay, and he got the reply. Okay, so you see here, here saving in the database, this entry came, and then whatever the data we passed here, right, from insomnia. So insomnia is a tool which is used to send http request. Okay, and we are sending http request to localhost 5000 slash info slash cs, right? So for slash info slash cs, for slash info, you are going to route, and route you have imported from here, and for slash cs, create student is the function, and your express will call create student, and that is how this function got executed. And now we have saved in the database, and we have sent a reply. So if we go to the database now, and then if we click refresh, you should get an entry in the database. You see there's an entry for Sidhu in the database. Okay, so next is we have created an entry. Let's try to read it. For reading, you need to call this get endpoint. Okay, the get student will be called, and for get student, what we just need to get information from the database and send the details. That's what you need to do. And to get information from the database, right, you need to use a table name which we have imported here, and use a find function, right, which will get all the data and it will put in the variable details. I'm just converting that into JSON format and sending it in the response. So again, from insomnia, what I'll do is in the get request, You need not saying anything in the body. It's just a get request, and I'm sending it. So I'm getting the Bala and Sidhu. Both the data is there. I'm getting both the data here. And second is the third is the update, right? How you update it here, update the student details. So for updating the student details, the thing you have to do is that while updating, you also need to specify the ID, right? Which ID you have to update. Okay. So basically, you have to call this function find by ID and update. This is a function to find a particular record by ID and update that record. So for this function, the first argument is the ID, right? So the ID which will come in the request.body, and then okay, so in the request.body ID should come, and then whatever you get, right, other data, you have to you have to pass like this, right? Dollar set colon and all the data, right? This is a name, these are column names, and this is the data for that. Okay, and this is the new data which has to be updated in the particular ID. Hey, this is the second argument. This complete thing is the second argument, and this is how you have to pass. And third is new is true, which means that it will this will return a new row. So you have already updated a row, right? It will return a new row. Okay, this data I'm sending it as a response. Okay, so this is what is update student has to do, right? You have to pass the ID, and then you have to use the set dollar set symbol, and then you have to pass the data which came in the JSON. So for that you need to use a put request, and you need to pass the ID here. Okay, if you go to get, right, you copy an ID. Okay, and then go to put request, paste the ID here. Okay, I paste the ID. So Bala will be changed to Bala Shan, and then the fees that puts you 1 lakh. Okay, and then is there any console log I have put? Yeah, I have put student is updated. Whatever is coming in the request body I have print. Okay, so let's send this. Okay, it's got updated. So students updated, ID came, Nak also came. Okay, so this ID is what in this ID here, and then whatever I have put here. So find by ID and update is actually updated our database. So the Bala would have changed to Bala Shan. Okay, so now here if I refresh, this Bala should have been updated to Bala Shan, and the fees should be 1 lakh. It is changed to Bala Shan, and the fees is 1 lakh. Okay, this is update, and then the next is delete, right? So for delete, I'm passing delete and the particular ID to be deleted, right? Both the things I'm passing, and the function to be called. Okay, this is the route I have declared. So to delete a student, what I have to do? I have to find by ID. So now the ID I'm passing in the URL itself, not in the body. So I have to use request.params.id. Okay. So in the Insomnia for the delete, I'm passing the ID to be deleted, right? Let's pass the ID to be deleted. Okay, this is a new ID to be deleted. I'm passing in the URL itself. So it will come in request.params. So I just need to call this users dot, which is the table dot find by ID and delete. So this ID has to be deleted, right? So anyway, I'm printing the ID here. The ID should get printed. So remember that in the route you have to mention whatever you have mentioned, right? Colon ID. The same thing you have to mention here. Param.id. Okay. So let's try to delete that entry. So student deleted came. So delete student, I got the correct ID. Okay. So if you refresh, this is the ID we deleted. This Balashan should go away. Yeah, it is deleted and we have only one entry. So this is very simple. That is how uh, we wrote the CRUD operation, right, for the backend, right? Create, read, update, and delete. So this is a controller code, and controller code has the code which to interact with the database. It has the business logic, and model has the schema information about the table, and route directory has the information about the routes. So this is what is in backend. So remember that for backend we used Express framework, right? So we tell Express framework like what is the function to be called when a particular endpoint is coming in the URL. So we tell Express, and Express calls a function. So this is the main use of Express. And remember that Node is just used to run our JavaScript code in the backend. Okay, thank you. We will in the next video. Now we have finished backend. In the next video, we'll start analyzing front end.